Hey everybody, the Reedswirl here, and welcome back to more of Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. Oh yeah, crap. Sound. Woo, close. Agent Lang. Jesus. Langsy says, little cubs never do they know the real fury of the Elder Wolves. These quotes are definitely becoming increasingly difficult to decipher. And what does that mean? It means that you'll never really know how angry I can get. Mr. Prosecutor, the counterfeit bills made with Babyliss ink. They were all of Zengfar denominations. Yes, so I heard from Ms. Von Karma. But we don't know where the play money has gone. They must not have figured out that it was all burned yet. Oh dear. Ever since those things showed up in circulation, my country's economy has taken a big hit. Zengfar is in financial chaos as we speak. Because we can't tell the difference between our own bills and the fakes. But it's not just the money. The citizens are also worried. I've stalked the honour of the House of Lang on this. And I've come to this land to capture the mastermind behind this whole mess. Investigate how the bills were made and how the ink was smuggled into Zengfar. And I pursued the smuggling ring all the way here. But tonight, this is where the final chapter was written. Despite my frantic efforts to chase the smuggler down, someone got to him first. Oh, he's on about, Manny Cochin. I was wondering who the hell he meant. And now I'm called to return home without a single answer. Agent Lang, Don't start, it's not your fault. It's not anyone's fault, Mr. Prosecutor. Oh man, he's actually being nice for once. Ambassador Alba, I'm sorry for all the trouble tonight. Oh no. It is I who should apologise. It was all because I was not strong enough. If only I was able to think of a better solution. Crackers, you fool! Curse your empty brain! You're being too hard on yourself, Ambassador. I take full responsibility for tonight, end of story. Sheena, let's go. Time to return to our den. Yes. I don't like to admit it, but there's not much else for us to do but to go home as well. Whoa. Oh. Wait. You Wolfman and the secretary lady. Hold it. Objection, pal. Detective Gumshoe. Have you got the results of the handwriting analysis already? Yep, and that note was definitely written by Mr. Cochin, sir. Just as I thought. Good work, Detective. Hey! Writ by Manny Cochin. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. How long do you intend to hold us up for? Sorry to have made you wait, but I believe that now everyone is finally here. Agent Sheena, I'd like to ask you something if you don't mind. Yes? How exactly did you fail to see the Yatagarasu? When you were in the neighbouring room to where Mr. Cochin was killed? I'd like you to explain that to us. What? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. What are you doing asking her about something she didn't see? Agent Lang hasn't touched the Babal investigation at all. So I suppose I will need to explain a few things to him first. Miles Edgeworth, I can't even begin to imagine what's going on in that head of yours. The only thing going on in my head is the pursuit of the truth. Oh? It sounds like you have some sort of plan. Very well, I'll supervise you until the end. Is she seriously going to treat me as a subordinate for the rest of the day? More than likely. You're not trying to pick a fight with my subordinate on some flimsy guess, are you? I'm not trying to pick a fight, and the evidence is hardly flimsy, as you will see. Oh, of course. I should have known. That you and I are destined to fight it out to the very end. It would appear that way. Oh! Well, I'll prove her innocence, so let's see what you've got, Prosecutor Edgeworth. I thought he was calling me Mr. Prosecutor. With pleasure. For my opening argument, I'll discuss the Yatagarasu that appeared in Babal. and establish exactly who it was that Kay saw. Agent Lang, I assume you've been briefed on Kay's testimony. You mean the suspicious person in a coat that she saw? That's right. That person is one of the keys to solving this case. The person who pretended to be the Yatagarasu. Pretended? What do you mean by that? I'll get to that in a second, but first, I want to review what this person Kay saw did. Kay, if you could please explain what the person you were chasing did for us. Okay, you got it. I first spotted the suspicious person near the open-air stage on the Babel East side. I called out to the person, but as soon as I did, that person ran off. I thought it was rather suspicious, so I immediately gave chase. For the sake of argument, let's call this suspicious person the Yatagarasu. Now please, tell us what happened when you chased the Yatagarasu up to the 3rd floor. Can do. I chased the Yatagarasu all the way up to the 3rd floor of the Babalese embassy. It was a pretty straight chase down the hallway until the sudden turn. The Yatagarasu disappeared around the corner, so I did my best to catch up. When I turned the corner, I saw the Yatagarasu run into Mr. Cochin's office. I gave chase and ran into the room, but when I entered the room, it was pitch black. I couldn't see a thing. I felt something on the ground next to my foot, so I turned on the light, but then... Yeah, she screamed. She saw the body. Who's there? By the time I had turned on the lights, the Yatagarasu had disappeared. When Kay entered the room, the person she was chasing was already gone. Why do you suppose that was, Agent Lang? What do you mean, why do you suppose? Isn't it obvious? The person slipped out through the door behind the girl under the cover of darkness. Sorry, but I know for a fact that the person didn't escape through that door. Oh, and how do you know that with such certainty? That's easy. If the Yatagarasu had left through that door, they would have run right into this person. Oh god, Kay's picture looks really weird. So if the Yatagarasu had left through that door, yeah, they would have run right into Sheena. Because she was right behind Kay. As soon as Kay screamed, she walked in, so... Your answer is Sheena? Yes, because let's consider what would have happened if the Yatagarasu had used the door. When Kay screamed upon discovering Mr. Cochin's body, the Yatagarasu would have run right into Agent Sheena, who was in the next room over. Oh god, he's sweating buckets. My god. Agent Sheena, would you mind telling us if you saw the suspicious person in question? No, I didn't see anyone. You see? Therefore, the Yatagarasu could not have escaped through the door. Okay. It just means that the creeps slipped out before Sheena made it out into the hallway. Yeah, okay. I doubt that, as there was another person in that hallway. A certain detective. Detective Gumshoe, where were you exactly at that time? Me, sir? Well, when I heard Kay scream... Oh, wow. I ran towards Mr. Cochin's office from the opposite direction of Agent Sheena, sir. So, Agent Lang, can you explain how someone could have eluded both of them? Even you must concede that under these circumstances, the door was not a viable route. Oh! Just that one sweat bead. Way to go, Mr. Edgeworth. You'll nail him with just an explanation of what happened. Very good. Yes, I've eliminated one of the possible escape routes from that room. But this is far from over. I need to make Agent Lang aware as well of yet another possible escape route the Yatagarasu could have taken. Of course, they always break out into laugh. I get it, so that's what you were trying to show me. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, let me guess. This is what you're trying to say, right? Because the door was not a viable escape route, then there must have been another way out. Precisely. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, it's time to bust out with our revolving fireplace wall explanation, right? No, not quite yet. Huh? But why? I thought this would be the perfect time. The revolving wall on the Babel East side is known only to 4 people. If we and if we use this information unwisely, the truth may escape us in the end. What's with all the whispering over there? Scared I'll figure out your tactics? Nothing of the sort, Agent Lang. Come, let's continue where we left off. That smug, haughty attitude of yours. You really rubbed me the wrong way, you know that? Well, no matter. I figured you out already, anyway. The only other possible escape route besides the door is the room's lone window. And since an eerie picture of said escape route exists, you're saying that this photo captures the moment of the Yatagarasu's escape? I guess Detective Bad must have filled him in on this photo. I have to admit that at first, I thought the window to be a possible escape route as well. However, I now know that to be impossible. Now I realise you may not know this, but humans can't fly. Of course I know that. That's bloody common sense. Besides, I never said I thought that photo to be of the Yatagarasu's escape route. I suppose not. Alright then, explain yourself. The shadow in this photo is not the Yatagarasu that Kay was chasing after. You can say whatever you'd like in whatever language you want. But there's only one language I really understand, the language of evidence. Very well then. I present to you proof that the person Kay saw is not the same as the one in this photo. I need proof. Wait, what do I have? I have the photo. Oh, it couldn't have been, because it was on the 3rd floor. I think that's what I'm going for. Photo taken after the first fire on the 4th and 5th floors had taken place. I mean, that's what I'm going with. Let me explain to you precisely why the shadow in this photo is not the Yatagarasu Kay saw. Kay spotted the Yatagarasu heading for the 3rd floor during the 2nd fire. It was taken after the 1st. However, the question in question was taken just after the 1st fire. Oh! Yeah, way to go. That's twice you've bit him in the butt now. God, he really likes saying not so fast. We're not done yet, you still have to explain what that shadow is. And how the Yatagarasu escaped. I don't suppose you can answer both, can you? Regarding the photo, I admit that we don't understand what it means quite yet. As I thought. However, the Yatagarasu's escape route, now that I can answer. You can? Well then, Mr. Prosecutor, go on, enlighten me. God, we're just back and forth. Not so fast, hold it. No Eurekas. No Eureka so far. Even if I explain it, you'll try to find some flaw with what I have to say. You were busy heading up the Alabastian investigation, correct? In that case, I doubt you'd have much knowledge about the Babalese side of the case. So wouldn't it be best if the lead on that side, Agent Sheena, explained in my stead? Sheena is my subordinate. If I don't stick up for her, how can I look her in the eyes and call myself her boss? Lang, it's alright. I can take care of him. Sheena, you shielded me a lot as my boss. But it's time for me to prove my worth. That's an eerie smile. Alright, if you're okay with it, then you have my support. Finally, it's down to just Agent Sheena and myself. This is where the battle really begins. Now then, what is it you'd like to ask? Let's see. Why don't we start with your movements inside the Babalese embassy? Oh yeah. Very good. So during the first Babalese fire, I assisted in putting out the fire. During the second fire, I was searching for the Yatagarasu that had appeared in Babal. So she's there. While I was searching, I heard a scream coming from the next room over. Although I was in the next room, I was unable to catch a glimpse of the Yatagarasu. To be honest, I'm actually very skeptical that the girl's Yatagarasu even exists. And that is all I have to say. But I'm not lying when I say I saw the suspicious person run into Mr. Cochin's office. Like I said earlier, I have no intention of retracting my testimony. Good. Just to confirm, did you have a partner when you were on your investigation? No, I moved alone. Ah, in that case, you have no one to corroborate your alibi. Is that correct? Are you calling her suspicious because she was in a room by herself? Herself? How pathetic. And it wasn't when Agent Sheena tried to arrest Kay under the same rationale. And how about when you accused Larry because he was the weapon's owner? Now that it's unexpected for that useless lump to get into such a situation. Although I suppose it's never a good idea to let mistakes go uncorrected. I'll make no excuse for what I did in that situation. Then you should apologize right now for making Kay out to be the killer, pal. I'm sorry. Sheena, apologize. Oh. I'm sorry. It's really okay, I mean, I'm not under suspicion anymore. Right, Miss Edgeworth? Well, I never doubted you. Not for 1 second. And the same goes for me. I believe in Sheena. And let's put that to the test. And see if she is really worthy of your trust. This promises to be interesting. God, it's weird seeing her smile. Sheena's movements. Yeah, I'll just press everything. So you helped with the fire extinguishing effort. I was in charge of the police at the Babalese side, so I helped them with their work. Police doing the job of the firemen. You really know how to work people. She sure does. That's because she's one awesome woman, and who knows how to manage. I guess so. She's always bringing you a business card or a scroll at just the right time. To prepare everything before I'm ordered to. That is the definition of a secretary. She kind of seems more capable than Agent Lang, doesn't she? At the very least, she's certainly more capable than you, Detective. I kinda had a feeling you were going to say that. Oh, poor Gumshoe. Sheena's more than just a capable secretary, you know. Sheena, tell him what other things you're good at. Alright. Searching for the Atakarasu, blah blah blah. By the second fire, you mean the one that consumed the third floor of Babal, correct? Yes. That was when the suspicious person was spotted in Babal. Then, you were after the same person in the long coat that I was after. There is no proof that the suspicious person was really the Yatagarasu, because no one was able to get a good look at the person's face. By the way, how was your team's investigation? In order to extinguish the fires, the water was pumped into the third floor via the windows. So the majority of the investigators conducted their searches on other floors. Maybe they did, but there was one person who was wandering around lost on the third floor. When the fire was pretty much out, I moved to investigate the third floor. And you did that alone? Yes. While I was searching, I heard a scream coming from the next room over. So, you were in the room next to Mr. Cochin's office. I already told you that I was earlier, as I was examining the neighbouring room. I heard that girl's shrill scream. Upon hearing her, I immediately ran towards Mr. Cochin's office. Wherein you proceeded to arrest her, as I recall. Yes, I did. But she was totally innocent, pal. I thought we had already cleared that up. She put on the glasses just to rip them off again. And I thought I'd already apologised for that, or for my behaviour. Now if the tenacious detective would be so kind as to be quiet... Jesus. I have to agree, right now is not the time to take issue with that. Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. But what I do take issue with is the fact that you didn't see the Yatagarasu, Agent Sheena. The prosecutors of this country are all so strange. And here's the flaming gun. I was unable to catch a glimpse of the Yatagarasu. I don't want to press it, I want to present. What do I present exactly? How do I present it? Oh, there we go, I think. Gear. Revolving fireplace. A sign that it has been used. Oh yeah. Being in the room next to Mr. Cochin's office is the problem with your testimony. Mr. Prosecutor, I don't see what problem you're talking about at all. Agent Lang, do you recall the secret we discovered about the Alabastian office fireplace? Huh? Oh, you mean how it connects the office with the room next door? What about it? Well, Alabast isn't the only country with secret connecting fireplaces. What? The fireplace in Mr. Cochin's office holds the exact same secret. What? The Yatagarasu didn't escape through the door to the room or the window. The escape route was through the revolving fireplace wall and into the next room over. Oh! Now do you see? If the Yatagarasu had escaped into the next room, then the thief would have run straight into Agent Sheena. Meaning that it's impossible for her to have missed the Yatagarasu. Oh! I really like this music. What is the meaning of this, Miles? Well, would you care to explain, Agent Sheena? How you managed to completely miss the fleeing Yatagarasu? Or shall I? Your claim that you were in the next room was a lie all along, wasn't it? The truth is, you were the one Kay saw in the coat. Pretending to be the Yatagarasu, and you were the one she chased after. As you tried to lose her, you ran into Mr. Cochin's office and headed for the fireplace. Then you shed your coat in the next room, leaving it there to emerge as Agent Sheena. After that, you came back around to place Kay under arrest. Does that sound about right? If not, then speak now or forever hold your peace. Forever. How dare you make Kay look like the bad guy when you're the suspicious one, pal? Ooh. Sheena? Here we go. And look who it is. It's Callisto you. Big reveal. That laugh. She was Sheena all along. I remember this irritating laugh. I'm getting chills down my spine. It can't be, but it has to be. Sheena, what's wrong with you? I'm sorry, it was so funny that I couldn't help but laugh. Funny, you say? Oh, right now she's actually using the same expressions. Yes, that you would accuse me of being the Yatagarasu. The prosecutors of this country really are all so strange, or so very strange. Do you think you can get away with this by simply laughing it off? You think I'm taking things too lightly? I think not. It's that prosecutor who is. Okay. Look, everything you said earlier is nothing more than mere speculation. The Yatagarasu fled through the fireplace. Do you have any proof to back up your claim? If you don't, then you haven't proven a thing regarding the Yatagarasu's escape route. The tone of voice you're taking with me now has certainly changed. That's because it's been a while since I've had this much fun. I think I'll let loose, and then we can have a real battle of wits. For an agent of Interpol to show me the true power of her mind, it is a great honour. Don't underestimate me. I'm not some foolish broad, you know. I know, and that is why I won't hold anything back either, as I answer your question. My question? Yeah, here is your proof that the revolving fireplace wall in Babal was used recently. Where's the testimony? Aha, there we go. There we go. There were ashes, but there were no ashes, because they were on the other side. Showing signs that it had been used. I'm sorry, but is this really your honest answer to my question? Yes, according to Ambassador Paleno's testimony, he said that he was burning some documents in the fireplace with Mr. Cochin. Oh? The ashes of what they burned were left in the fireplace, so they should have been there. However, when we went to investigate the room, the ashes weren't there. Hey KK, how's it going? Why is that a problem? Maybe someone cleaned them up? Because they were on the other side. That's the problem. Unfortunately for you, Ambassador Paleno said that he forgot to. So the question remains, why were the ashes missing? The answer is simple. When the Yatagarasu went through the fireplace wall, the ashes were pushed into the next room by the wall as well. The movement of the ashes that were in Mr. Cochin's office is my proof. Oh my god, the laugh again. Jesus. Just what is so funny? Ashes proof? Are you even allowed to submit such flaky evidence in court? You still wish to fight us? Of course, why wouldn't I? In that case, let's hear your counter-argument. My counter-argument, huh? This really is just like being in court. Well, to me, we're simply continuing from where we left off all those years ago. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, of course. It doesn't matter if we're at a crime scene or in court, let's finish this here and now. I suppose. I've had a lot of fun today, but I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony, and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. So, Sheena's rebuttal to my rebuttal. Oh, we're getting closer because the music's changed. Nice! In my eyes, all you've proved is that the rotating fireplace wall was used. But you can't really call that proof that the Yatagarasu used the fireplace now, can you? So then, who was it that used the rotating wall? Show me your answer with real evidence. Remember, we've already finished our very thorough investigation, and we found not a single suspicious thing in Mr. Cochin's office. And there you have it, my counter-argument. Oof. That's very impressive. She's seen through to the fact that I have yet to gather that one piece of evidence. Uh-oh! What is it, Kay? I haven't heard a peep out of you in quite a while now. If you don't think you can handle it, feel free to leave the rest to us. Rest of it to us. But Kay, pull yourself together. You are the true heir to the Yatagarasu name, are you not? Oh! If you want to steal the truth, then you must never take your eyes off of it. This chase you're running to catch the truth. You must see it through to the very end. Mr. Edgeworth, you're right. I will see this through to the end. So, you go get her for me, Mr. Edgeworth. With pleasure. Looks like a lack of evidence has left you wide open, doesn't it? Sheena, please, show me you're someone I can trust. Don't worry, this will be the deciding match. You'll see. I'm truly sorry, Agent Lang, but I simply can't allow her to escape me again. Very well then, Agent Sheena, shall we begin? I'm ready whenever you are. Alright. Yeah, it's just time to press everything. I wonder if I can use the voice. Hold it! Hold it! Yeah, it worked. Love it. Sounds to me like you're saying my explanation is not good enough. But I was able to go through the revolving door myself. So that should be proof enough even for you, pal. It looks like you don't quite understand. But by your looks, I guess that you're not all that learned. Jesus. Talk about rude. You should watch what you say, pal. Sadly, I can't say I disagree with her on that one. Of course, everybody takes pot shots at Gumshoe. But you know what I mean, right? You may have proven that the fireplace was used. But you can't really call that proof. Yeah. So you want proof that the Yatagarasu was the one who used the fireplace? That's right. Well, do you have any? No. Can you prove that it wasn't the Yatagarasu who used the fireplace? I don't need to prove anything to you. Objection. Okay, if you could please not steal my line. Sorry. But I just couldn't hold it in anymore. Well, don't fret and leave her to me. All you have to do is sit back and watch. You may seem to have some wiggle room, but without any evidence, it's meaningless. So then who was it that used the rotating wall, blah blah blah. I'm just pressing everything till I get to the statement where I present something. It's possible that the Yatagarasu left fingerprints inside the fireplace. Sorry, but I had the forensics team check that already. All they found were prints belonging to Ambassador Peleno and Mr. Cochin. Curses! Foiled again! I should have known better than to think the Yatagarasu would have been so careless. Well, there must be some sort of evidence that we still have yet to find. I take it you have no further objections? Yes, their very thorough investigation. So, Interpol has finished examining the entire Babalese embassy. Yes, the investigators who weren't allowed into Alabast were incredibly helpful. They are putting great efforts to search for any sign of the Yatagarasu. And yet, despite all that effort, it appears that they had failed to notice the lack of ash in the office fireplace. Furthermore, you were the one who inspected the room next to Mr. Cochin's, correct? I didn't notice the ash there in the fireplace of that room, and for that, I am sorry. You don't need to apologise, Sheena. As your boss, your mistakes are my mistakes. So allow me to apologise for you. I'm sorry. You know, maybe this guy's not such a bad guy after all. He apologises for his subordinate and everything. What a great boss. Are you saying that I don't do anything for my own subordinates? No. Nothing of the sort, sir. You're someone I really respect, sir. Even if you are a bit too strict sometimes. It's only a problem on your end. Wow, way to be super hard on him in response. Am I really too strict on everyone? Anyway, Sheena, you didn't find anything in Mr. Cochin's office, right? That's right, we finished our investigation. And we found not a single suspicious thing in Mr. Cochin's office. You mean, like, you didn't see... I don't know. You didn't happen to come across some counterfeit bills. You didn't come across, you know, the wire that was found in a grandfather clock. That's what I'm presenting. I don't know if the counterfeit bills would have been suspicious. But the wire definitely is. Like, why was it hidden in the clock? Well, you say that you and your agents have finished your thorough investigation. Are you absolutely certain that you didn't overlook anything? Well, aren't we full of ourselves, standing there insulting Interpol agents? You better not be insinuating that my men are incompetent, Mr. Prosecutor. I'd never do that. However, it doesn't change the fact that they did overlook something. I'd like for you to take a look at this length of wire. What exactly is this supposed to mean? A length of wire? So what about it? I'll tell you what. We found this in the Babalese embassy not long ago. What? And we found it wound up inside the grandfather clock in Mr. Cochin's office. You found that at the scene of Mr. Cochin's murder? What? But this wire wasn't all we found. We found one other very important thing. There's more? In Mr. Cochin's office, there were signs that someone had burned counterfeit bills there. Oh! That's what I mean. To make the green fire. What in the... Hiya! Ooh. It's getting intense. Who said hold it? That evidence was something you found out through the girl's machine, right? So what if it was? That's what I thought. But unfortunately for you, a recreation made by a machine is hardly concrete proof. Are you serious? Among the ashes you found in the room, did you happen to find any counterfeit bills? No. You see? So there was nothing in that office. Nothing you can call evidence, anyway. Oh, what a bitch. I'm sorry, but I seem to have given you the wrong impression. How so? I don't recall saying that I was presenting evidence of any sort. But rather I was pointing out that your investigation was incomplete. And that this throws doubt on the purity of your investigation into the Yatagarasu. You still suspect me, I see. Alright then, I ask that you point out what part of my investigation is incomplete. The other Interpol agents worked under the command of Agent Sheena. It is not possible that the reason the person K was chasing chose the third floor was because that person knew there would be no other agents on that floor. Furthermore, we've come to see that Agent Sheena was only pretending to be investigating the Yatagarasu to the point of arresting Kay. In that case, there is one location that no one has yet to inspect. Your team's investigation was incomplete because they failed to inspect this location. Her room. She was the only one there. It's entirely possible she could have hidden something. For example, the coat. The location, Agent Sheena, is of course the room you claimed to have examined. I believe the room next to Mr. Cochin's office warrants a thorough inspection. Even if you do that, I doubt you'll find anything of use to you there. I will be the one to decide that. Detective Gumshoe? Yes, sir. I'm on it. I'll be right back after I check out that room next to the office. I'm just waiting for Gumshoe. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you really think that Miss Sheena's the Yatagarasu? Yes, if my logic is sound, I believe she is. Then I'm not going to let her get away with ruining the name of the Yatagarasu. But can you prove she's the Yatagarasu in question? Or is the question? If Detective Gumshoe can find what I'm hoping he will find, then I should be able to. Just what are you hoping he'll find, the coat? Let's just say this. I had Detective Gumshoe do a little experiment for me earlier. An experiment? As if that detective has the brains for high science. It wasn't that mentally taxing. I had him use the same escape route as the Yatagarasu. What did you find out by doing that? First, that it's possible for a person to fit through the revolving wall door. Second, that by going through there, his coat was covered in ash and Bobbly's ink. Who cares what his coat was covered in? It's not worth that much anyway. But is it really worth so little? I believe that it's actually quite a meaningful result, the value of which I'm about to prove. Mr. Edgeworth, I found some things you really need to see, sir. Here we go. Oh, so what are these things that you found? Some makeup, a coat, and a pair of shoes, sir. You found a coat? You hear that, Mr. Edgeworth? Maybe it's the one the person I was chasing was wearing. Yes, the possibility does exist. Agent Sheena, were these pieces of evidence not in that room when you examined it? Unfortunately for you, those aren't suspicious items of any sort. They all belong to me. They were getting in the way, so I stored them in that room. Aw. Thank you for bringing them to me. It saves me a trip. May I have them back now? I mean, she shouldn't have said that it was hers, considering it was a black coat, which means the ink would have been hidden, but if we can see if there's ink on it, then that literally just proves that she used the fireplace. These items that the detective brought back are incredibly significant. I request that we be allowed to examine them. They're my personal belongings, so you have no right to touch them without my permission. I wish to examine them for the sake of the investigation, but if you wish to deny access to them... Agent Lang, let's hear your opinion on this. I say let them look at your stuff, Sheena. Oh, now she's sweating. Lang. Sheena, let's put it all out in the open. If you're really innocent, then you have nothing to worry about, right? I guess so. Alright, go ahead and examine whatever you'd like. After all, I have nothing to hide. Good. Now let us begin. So which of Agent Sheena's belongings are you going to examine, sir? Why would I examine the makeup or the shoes? It's obviously the coat. Let's examine the coat. Yes, sir. It appears you managed to stain your coat rather badly, Agent Sheena. The Yatagarasu that Kay saw was wearing a coat. I'm beginning to wonder if this stain wasn't created when you went through the fireplace. No, you have it wrong. That soot probably got on my coat when I was helping the police put out the fire. So what about this dark substance around the hem of the coat? Oh, I didn't realise that the hem was dirty, or was that dirty. I'm sure it was just some water mixed with soap from when I was helping them with the fire. Yeah, we're so sure. I don't think so. You think you can get away with such a transparent lie? Yeah, don't lie to us, pal. This is the same pattern of dirt that got on my coat when I went through the fireplace. Your words ring hollow in the absence of evidence, you know? So unless you can prove that the dirt on my coat is from the fireplace, which I can. But how? You did a great job, Detective Gumshoe. Huh? Me, sir? What did I do? This coat. This is exactly the piece of evidence I was searching for. I'd been hoping to find the coat that the person Kay saw was wearing. And thanks to you, we proved that going through the fireplace would sully the coat. I don't quite get what you're saying, but I'm happy for the praise, sir. All that remains is for us to show what the dark substance on the coat hem is. Oh, and you think you can do that? Of course I can. This is the dark substance that's on the hem of the coat. It's the ink. There we go. Barbalese ink. Yes, this is what will prove that the coat went through that fireplace. According to Ambassador Paleno, he burned some files in the fireplace this morning. He told us about that already, so I don't really see the point in mentioning it again. My point is that he spilled some ink onto the back wall of the fireplace at that time. If the dark substance on this coat turns out to be Barbalese ink, it would prove that you and this coat went through the revolving fireplace wall. Oh damn. She had like slicked back hair for a sec then. Sorry to have clipped one of your wings, Yatagarasu. But we're not finished yet. But you have no way of proving whether or not this is Barbalese ink on the coat hem. Oh, but I do, and I intend to show that it is ink in a few seconds. How? How, you ask? Well, since you don't seem to know, allow me to show you. This is how I will prove the dark substance on the coat is Barbalese ink. Wear the coat. Yeah! Now burn the coat. We can find out whether that is Barbalese ink or not by lighting it on fire. That's how you're going to prove that it's Barbalese ink? Yes, if you could please cut a section of the dark, stained area for me, I'd appreciate it. Because I will show you, here and now, what the dark substance is. Sheena, sorry to do this, but I'm going to have to cut off a bit of your coat. Go ahead, I wasn't planning to wear it anymore anyway. Now then, if someone could loan me a lighter or something. Well, I've got some matches. I always carry them with me so I can light smoke bombs. And if I could please have 1K, we can get this experiment underway. The flame. It's the same colour as the flames white crystal oil produces, which means Barbalese ink is a product of white crystal oil. And when lit, the ink produces a green flame. I believe the time has come to click the Yatagarasu's other wing. Miss Sheena, you're the fake Yatagarasu. The one who killed my father. It's about time you came clean, Agent Sheena, or should I say, Callisto you. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, you're not serious, are you? Do I look like the joking type to you? Callisto you? I've never heard that name before in my life. That manner of speaking and that attitude, you haven't changed a bit in 7 years. You're the defense attorney that killed Mr. Faraday, and then tried to frame me for it. Oh really? And you have proof? You insist that I am this Callisto you woman, but you can't prove it. If you have no proof, then I'm afraid you won't be able to lay a single finger on me. Oh, but we do have proof. The raven is a very unique bird, one that flies by the darkness of night. However, the light of dawn has arrived and it will reveal your true, ugly form to the world. Enough poetry. I want to see some evidence. Do you really have something that can prove that she is Callisto you? I do. It's something that the second Yatagarasu has preserved for us these last 7 years. Do me the honour, Mr. Edgeworth. I will, Kay, for we have finally come to the end. We'll prove her to be Callisto you with this, and clip this Yatagarasu's wings for good. It is, of course, the perfume! There it is. She's been safeguarding it. For 7 long years. This perfume. This will prove you to be Callisto you. It will? Kay has preserved it perfectly for us. Surely you remember this bottle. This belonged to Miss Yu, just before she disappeared 7 years ago. Naturally, this means that a few of her fingerprints are on here as well. This is the bottle of perfume you spilled, which I have preserved ever since. Oh! I heard from my father, Bern Faraday, that if stored under the right conditions, a fingerprint can be preserved for decades. Which means that your fingerprints are still on here, every last one. We can clear everything up if we were to compare the prints on this to your own. Now come, Agent Gina, will you submit yourself to a fingerprint test? Of course she won't. Oh, she's finally cracking. Oh, Jesus! That's super maniacal. Look at her! Oh my god, there's so many flashes! Ah, there we go. It looks like you've seen right through me yet again. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine, Edgeworth. Wait, is this her theme? Callisto you. So you've shown your true face at last. It's a feeling of thrill. It's even greater than that time 7 years ago. Sheena, Lang, I really enjoyed our days together. You're an insanely strong, nice, kind-hearted idiot of a man. So you were a spy all along. A mole sent by the smuggling ring I've been chasing after. Someone has been feeding them intel on Interpol all this time. Very good. Maybe I'm not as big of an idiot as I thought. Callisto you, the woman who killed my father 7 years ago. You're her, aren't you? The fake Yatagarasu. That's right, Callisto you. That's just one of my many names. But even that is just a facade. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the great thief Yatagarasu. My goodness. Callisto you. This time you won't escape, for this is the end of the road for you. Now come along quietly. You know, you're the one who left the strongest impression on me, Kay Faraday. And had you not used the Yatagarasu's gadgets, I might have never known who you were. But here you are being a thorn in my side. Just like your father always was. Jesus. Kay, don't! She's like punching the air. You will never forgive you for what you did to my father. You really are just like him. Mr. Faraday too possessed such a laughable honesty. Oh no. Uh-oh, this is bad. Kay! You like... Wait, you like... I can't read that for some reason. You let Kay go right now, pal. You despicable... Let go of me, you filthy... This ain't good. You think I'm a fake, don't you? Well, unfortunately for you, I'm the real Yatagarasu. But that's impossible. My father was the one who created Little Thief. Hey, Edgeworth. The Yatagarasu has 3 legs. Do you know why that is? Why it has 3 legs? There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. No, it can't be. Did you finally figure it out? Did you finally know the real identity of the Yatagarasu? Callisto... Oh no, burn, Callisto, neither. The real identity of the Yatagarasu is neither person. The real identity of the Yatagarasu is neither Burn Faraday nor Callisto you. But by the same token, they are also both the real Yatagarasu. How very perceptive of you. No way. The single person known as the Great Thief Yatagarasu never existed. Mr. Edgeworth. No, I refuse to believe this. The Yatagarasu is known to have 3 special skills. It's 3 separate people. Skill number 1. The Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. There we are. And a lawyer would have the opportunity to learn the layout of client corporations. Skill number 2. The Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security systems. And a good prosecutor would be well versed in the ways of a criminal. And skill number 3. The Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. Oh, Jesus. Detective Bad. It was only natural for the Yatagarasu to never leave evidence behind, because the lead detective on the case hid it all away. You're the 3rd member of the Yatagarasu? You. I've been looking for you for a long time. 7 long years, but I finally got you. Why, Mr. Bad, long time no see. What happened to us? We used to be such a great team. If you were such a great team, then why did you kill my father 7 years ago? Why, indeed. It was nothing personal, really. He was just another person I had to kill. How can you say that? I grow weary of this, and it's about time for everything to come to an end. This time, I won't miss. Jesus. It's over, Sheena. Oh no! Your leg. Oh man, Lang being a badass. He managed to stop her. Wait, how the hell would that work? She had the gun right next to her head. But somehow he managed to get it, and it shot him in the leg? Whatever. Agent Lang. Oh, she didn't shoot. Fucking Bad did. And that's what hit Lang. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. I forgot that Bad had a gun. What were you thinking, jumping in front of my gun like that? What are you risking your life for? I'm sorry, Detective Bad, but no matter what sort of past she may have had, or even if she is a spy, it doesn't change the fact that she is my subordinate. And as long as she is, I can't allow any harm to come to her, not even from you. You really are an idiot, you know that? That's fine with me. You should know by now that this is just how I am. Hey sis. Yes? I want you to conduct a full body search. Sheena might have another weapon on her. Alright. Detective Gumshoe, your assistance, please. Sir. Wow. Hey, I found something. That's the is that the Babalese? Wait. Yeah, it's a butterfly. That's a Babalese knife that went missing. And was replaced with the Alabastian one. Wait. Wait, was there even one of the Alabastian ones missing? I don't remember. What is this, sir? It looks like the blade of a knife, but it doesn't have a handle. This is a great find, Detective. Is it, sir? Or it is, sir? Let's try pairing up this blade with this handle. Wait, where is the handle? Do I have just the handle? Oh, there. Babalese! There we go. I believe this blade actually belongs with the handle that was on the murder weapon. Hey, they fit together perfectly. This blade must have been taken from the crime scene when the knife handles were switched. I'm going to go and return this Babalese knife now. Alright. I trust that you'll make sure that it is returned to Ambassador Peleno. Babalese knife handle given to Detective Gumshoe. Yay! I believe this makes it perfectly clear who did it, Callisto you. For the only time the handles could have been switched is just after Mr. Cochin's murder. Which means that you must be Mr. Cochin's killer. You killed Mr. Cochin with the Alabastian knife, switched the handles, and then took the original blade of the Babalese knife with you. Later, you allowed yourself to be spotted by Kay near the open-air stage. You used the fireplace to lose her, and then you went back to accuse her of the murder. Does that about sum it up? Objection! God, we haven't heard that in a while. Woo! You craft an engaging tale, Edgeworth, but there are two problems with it. Problems? In what respect? What do you think my real reason was in allowing her to chase after me? To frame her? It was also I could capture Kay Faraday. What? When I saw you using that device at Gate Waterland, I knew right away that you were Ben Faraday's daughter. I became curious, so I researched a little into your background. That's why I found out that you were on the trail of the Yatigarasu. So that's why you tried to pin Mr. Cochin's murder on me. Yes, I knew you would show up at the embassy tonight. So I thought to use you, but pinning the murder on you wasn't my only goal. You had another? Yes. Once I had you under arrest, I'd planned to search you, and take back the device that rightfully belongs to me, the true Yatigarasu. You were going to take Little Thief away from me? 7 years ago, it was thanks to that device that Faraday was able to infiltrate this place. But he stole more than he should have. Oh. And had a tough time recovering the precious key. Then the person who stole the Yatigarasu's key was Mr. Faraday. You knew that incident 7 years ago. What was the catalyst behind it? In the eyes of the smuggling ring, the Yatigarasu was becoming a bit of a problem. It wasn't an especially pleasant assignment. Then why? Why did you become a member of the Yatagarasu? Why? There is no why. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning. From the beginning? What is that supposed to mean? The person I take orders from hasn't changed, even now, to this day. Does this mean that the leader of the smuggling ring wasn't Mr. Cochin? And the real ringleader is still out there pulling the strings? Are you done asking what you need to know? Because if so, we should probably get going. You're going to tell me everything you did tonight, do you understand, Gina? I guess I should tell you then, that I was the one who set the Bubbly's embassy on fire. Why did you do that? I suppose it was to destroy all evidence of the counterfeit bills. That was what the smuggling ring was trying to do, but then why start two fires? I'm sorry, but I can't tell you anything about the ring. It's your job to complete your investigation, after all. I've had my fun. Now it's your turn to enjoy the ride. Wait, Miss Sheena. Yes? When I fell to the floor earlier, these fell at my feet. What about them? They're such pretty hair sticks, but I thought, well, that I should return them to you. You can have them. They're of no use to me anymore. If you don't want them, you can always just throw them away. No, I want to keep them. Suit yourself. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot Edgeworth. About the second problem I had with your story. I didn't kill anyone tonight. Oh. What? I'm not saying that as a sore loser. Think of it as a hint, if you will. Mr. Prosecutor? Yes, Agent Lang? Mark my words, I'm not done here and I'll be back. It's got nothing to do with duty or anything, because this has become my personal case. I may have been shot, but I'll show you just how dangerous a wounded wolf can be. His anger appears to have negated the sensation of pain in his injured leg. Jesus. There they go. It's finally over, Kay. I feel like I've peered into her heart a little, you know? And it's so cold and dark, and incredibly lonely. The person who was giving her all these commands. The one who thought my father was a problem to be removed. That person is the real ringleader behind the smuggling ring. Mr. Edgeworth, I have a favour to ask. Can you hold on to these hair sticks for me? They're really pretty, just like the ones they were selling for the German Ninja Show. But until this case is over, I don't think I can look at them without being overcome. I understand. I'll take good care of them for you. There's a bit of soil stuck on the ends of these sticks. Oh! Well, I guess it's that time already, huh? So it's midnight, the dawn of another day. Hey Pops, thanks a bunch. You've really done a lot for everyone all these years. Detective Bad, don't tell me today is the day. Yeah, it is. With this, I can retire in peace. It was down to the wire, and we almost didn't make it. But we did it. We solved everything. But that's just it. We haven't solved everything yet. The ringleader of the smuggling ring, you... Oh, you, the Yatagarasu, we're chasing after. The legend of that Yatagarasu is now over. Mr. Edgeworth, that bit of logic earlier, it was brilliant. I feel like I can leave it all in your hands. I'm counting on you. Is it really true, Uncle Bad? Were you also part of the Yatagarasu? As I said to you earlier, Kay, I'm truly sorry. I wanted nothing but a peaceful life for you. Uncle Bad. Hey, don't take it so seriously. It's all just one big joke, right? Unfortunately, it isn't. Oh, come on, sir. She's just yanking on my chain, isn't she, Mr. Edgeworth? Detective Bad. Wait, no. You are no longer a detective. Mr. Bad, I'd like to ask you something about the Yatagarasu. Like you ask you about the Yatagarasu. I'm just adding words in left and right now. Oh, you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, here. I should give these back to you. KG8 incident? Really? These are the pages from my KG8 case files that the Yatagarasu stole from my office. Huh? Wait. What? Hold the phone. Was that Bad? Was it Bad that was threatening us? It was! I must apologise for last night. That was Bad? So the Yatagarasu who stole into my room was you, was it? Wait, then that means... What? Tell me it's not true. That's too insane for me to believe, sir. It's true, even if it's not something you want to hear. The KG8 incident, it was a very emotionally trying case. We stood in that courtroom, Faraday as the prosecutor, and I as the lead detective. Faraday had evidence in his possession that would prove the defendant guilty. However, because it was stolen, the defendant was found innocent. You was the elder sister of the victim in the case. When the defendant was pronounced not guilty, she let out a great wail. That's when we realised that there was a limit to what the law could do. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what we thought at the time. That's how we formed the Yatagarasu, and vowed to bring to light any dirty dealings companies had with the ring, including companies that dealt with the Amano Group, Mr. Amano's conglomerate. We called ourselves the Yatagarasu, and flexed our collective muscle. We exposed all sorts of shady dealings as a warning to the business world as a whole. By doing that, we were able to stop the higher-ups from covering things up. And then, it was finally time. We had finally arrived at the moment when we'd find out the ringleader's true identity. It was then that you literally stabbed us in the heart, and Faraday, he died for it. But why? Wasn't she the sister of the victim in the KG8 incident? After Faraday's death, I looked into her past. And that's when I found out that she was a phony. Oh. The victim of the KG8 incident, CCU, didn't have any siblings. She never had a sister. What? Then that means... Sheena wasn't the only fake name she used. Callisto U was also another pseudonym. From the very beginning, that woman was a spy sent by the smuggling ring. She said it herself. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning. Anyway, let's return to the real topic at hand. Mr. Edgeworth, this trump card that we stuck onto this page of the case file. Please, use it wisely. Trump card. That photo that we stuck on there, try peeling it off. Behind it slumbers a piece of evidence that Faraday hid away all those years ago. Oh. It's the mark of the Yatagarasu. But why? This is a directives card from the big boss. Take a look at the back. This was something Cochin had on him at the time of the KG8 incident, 10 years ago. That blood is from the victim of the incident, Miss CCU. But why is the card adorned with the mark of the Yatagarasu? The reason why we called ourselves the Yatagarasu was because of the three-legged raven mark that the smuggling ring's boss used. Apparently orders from the boss would come on these cards, without fail. The person who received the order was supposed to burn it immediately after reading it. And apparently, it burns a bright green flame when set ablaze. So you mean the cards were written in Babalese ink? The fact that the card that Cochin was sent made it into Faraday's hands at all is nothing short of a miracle. We decided that whenever we stole anything, we would send a card along with it to the police. Ah, so that's what those white cards are. The great thief that used the mark that only those within the ring would know. It was our message to the ringleader that we were only a few steps behind. Oh! And one more thing, Detective Gumshoe. I'm entrusting this to you. What is this, sir? This is what I was talking about earlier. During the KG8 incident trial, Faraday had this in his possession. This important, definitive piece of evidence. But I thought it was stolen. How do you have it? The person who stole it from us 10 years ago was a man by the name of Ernest Amano, and he had it locked and hidden away for all this time. But we forced him to tell us where it was finally, after the other day's kidnapping case. Ah. Nice. This video. Don't come any closer, I'm warning you. This is the same video as the one Pottsman was trying to conceal from me. It would seem that even he was caught up in the ring's web. Amano was preparing to take on the boss someday, and the video was his insurance. That's where the prosecutor comes in. He was to retrieve the video. On top of that, he was apparently instructed to sneak into your office and steal the trump card. You saw it yourself, or for yourself, right? The card that told him to preserve the evidence. Then that card was not the calling card of the Yatagarasu, but rather a directives card from the ringleader to Mr. Pottsman. The two pieces together make for a strong weapon for whoever holds them. The evidence Mr. Pottsman thought to withhold from me, and the one that you stole from my office last night. Both pieces are illegal, and for me to use either one is, whether you use them or not is up to you. But they will be of help to you when you take on someone who is above the law. Is the boss one of those who cannot be brought to court that Mr. Faraday spoke of? Detective Bad. There is no limit to the law, for it is the people who determine the limits to them. You still insist that, even now, you really are something else. I'll leave the rest in your hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, the handcuffs. It's time to lock up the last remaining member of the Yatagarasu. Pops, don't ever lose your detective spirit. Why is this happening? This isn't justice. Like I always told you, do not get emotionally involved. Now, let's go. Yes, sir. Oh man. Is this really the end of a legend? Alright, I guess so. There's that. Getting closer and closer. We're actually in the end section, but there are 3 of these, so it's going to be a while. March 15th. Theatum Neutralis, yeah, same place. So now we know who the Yatagarasu really was. And yet there remains much to this case that needs to be resolved. Like how the weapons crossed country lines, for example. The 2 countries have incredibly strict security systems and entry procedures. Short of a miracle, it's impossible for someone to have smuggled them in. Smuggling them in, huh? We will need to open a new line of investigation on just this aspect alone. But before we do, I would like to go through my evidence once more. Yeah, we're getting rid of unnecessary shit. Hey, there's a VCR here, sir. Now we can see what's on that tape Detective Bad gave us. This piece of evidence from the KGA incident, hidden from sight for 10 long years. I just know that this is related to the current case somehow. Detective Gumshoe, if you could please play the tape for us. Sure thing, sir. I'm just gonna have to pay close and close attention to it, to try and find whatever there is on it. The heck? Oh, it's Kochin. He has the black calling card. This man, it's Manny Kochin. And he's holding a knife in his hand. This looks like footage from a security camera at the entrance of an apartment building. An apartment building? How do you figure that? Unlike you, I actually read the summary file on the KGA incident. The crime scene was the victim's own apartment. So this footage was shot at the entrance to the victim's own apartment building? At the trial, Mr. Faraday claimed that this piece of footage existed. However, no one could find it. Yes, somehow someone was able to steal it and hide it through Mr. Ernest Amano. You can see how this would have been a definitive piece, and why someone would want to hide it. But it's a piece of evidence from a 10-year-old case. There's no way it's related to this case we're working on now, sir. Actually, I believe it has everything to do with the case we're working on now. The ringleader even went so far as to use Mr. Pottsman to retrieve it. Which means that in this video lies a very inconvenient bit of footage to the ringleader. Where? Where? Wait, what was that? Huh? That bit you played just now. Please show it to me again. What am I looking at? This car. This is something we cannot overlook. Why is that, sir? Look here, Detective Gumshoe. Can I not check my, like, evidence? No. Oh, hang on. Is it this? Is that a flag? I can't quite tell. It's very low res. This is the... Oh! This is the national flag of the Principality of Cadopia. And because it has the national flag on it, we know this to be an official government car. But the question we should be asking ourselves is, what was a government car doing there? Oh. Ah, Miss Von Karma and Mr. Edgeworth. So you were here all this time? Ambassador Alba. Thank you very much for continuing the investigation even at this time of night. Ah, if only I was even a tiny bit more careful. This tragedy would never have happened. I am truly sorry. This wasn't your fault, sir. This has nothing to do, or had nothing to do with how careful you were. You idiot, Quercus! You couldn't chase after a simple thief. Now then, let's get down to the real reason why I came looking for the two of you. I would like you to put the investigation on hold for a while. Can you do that? Excuse me? I heard you've apprehended the thief that turned this embassy upside down. And we are in the middle of an event celebrating our country's reconciliation. We can't exactly have the police and detectives walking around here forever. You're scaring the visitors away. So I hope that you can understand how I feel. But we must finish our investigation and resolve the remaining issues. Why don't we leave the rest to the Alabastian and Babalese police? Ambassador, we are so close, just a little more and... Miss Von Karma, I'm afraid I've made up my mind. And without my permission, you can't proceed with your investigation anyway, right? That's true, however... As he said at the very beginning, this area can be considered to be Alabastian soil. In which case, we are nothing but foreigners in their land. Is this really where our investigation ends? Hold it! Shifu! You found Mr. Edgeworth, sir. It's Agent Lang. Shifu, this way. Ah, thank Christ he's back. Yo! He's walking just fine. All things considered. Agent Lang? You're back on the scene rather quickly. If I laid back and took a break, I'd lose the scent of my prey, Mr. Prosecutor. Agent Lang, why have you returned? Because I have to solve this case no matter what. Well, I'm sorry to inform you. And don't take this the wrong way, I don't suspect you personally. However, a member of Interpol was just found to be a thief, and so... Under these circumstances, I wish to put your investigation on hold. After all, I believe our own police can handle things from here. They are quite capable. At this rate, our investigation really will come to a close. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, wow. Ambassador Alba, I get it now. I really do. Oh? I'm very glad you understand how I feel. No, not that. What I was talking about is... I know who the killer is behind tonight's murder. You know? The killer? Do you really mean that, Agent Lang? Wolves don't lie. Then who is it? Well, let me first say that I'm not talking about Mr. Cochin's murder. That was all Sheena. Wait, really? Langzy says, the truth lies not at the exit, but rather shines outside the maze itself. The truth is unexpectedly simple. So let me ask you this. Who do you think was Damask the Second's killer? I'll tell you who. What? It was you, Franziska von Karma? Huh? Literally everybody on our team's being suspected. I was the killer? Hey, wait, but that's impossible. Yeah. Although, that whip is actually quite... Hold your tongue and that ludicrous remark you were about to make. Agent Lang, are you seriously accusing her of the murder? Yeah, I am. He doesn't appear to be joking. Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech. He called you into his office, right? Yes, he did, but what does that have to do with anything? I'm getting to that. Furthermore, in order to solve both cases, you moved around rather freely between Alabast and Babal, did you not? She objects. And where is your evidence that I am the killer? Back and forth. I love it. I was just getting to that. Trust me, I'll show them to you in due time. Ambassador Alba, in order for me to bring this case to a close, I'll need to inspect your office one more time. Will you grant me permission? With things as they are, I suppose I don't have much of a choice, do I? Good, then let's move out. Oh, don't even think about running away, sis. My pack will be keeping a close eye on you. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. As if I would have any reason to flee. But just so we're clear, your logic had better be sound. Why? Because I'll accept nothing short of a perfect explanation. She seems rather upset, not that I blame her. I expected that you'd accept no less. But we'll see how long you can keep that nose of yours stuck up in the air like that. Jesus. Agent Lang, as someone related to tonight's case, I request that you allow me to take part. And so that I may clean up my superior's mess. Oh, I guess I should. The more the merrier, especially when it's the peanut gallery. Oh, in that case, I want to join in too. I still haven't seen what it looks like in Alabast yet. If you let Kay in, then you gotta let me in too, pal. I can't sit around and do nothing when Miss Von Karma's in trouble. Hey Gummy, let's have a competition to see who can save her first, okay? Okay, I'll take you up on that. Oh yeah, I'm fired up and raring to go. As a detective, I don't believe this is something you're supposed to be excited over. Sounds like this is gonna get real interesting. Ambassador Alba, I'll be bringing these kids along for the ride. Very well. But I'd like you to keep in mind that this will be your last chance. I'll have this whole mess cleaned up before you know it. Now let's go. Alright. Can't wait for Gumshoe to get framed next. Okay, now let's go over the facts one more time. Or let's first go over the facts one more time. Manikochan's body was found over in the Secretariat's office in Babal. The weapon that took his life was one of Alabast's ornamental knives. And then the body of Damask II, Mr. Kai Shi Nao, or Nu, was found here in the Alabastian ambassador's office. Through our investigation, we found that the murder weapon was this Primduck statue. And that this is actually Babal's statue. In that case, no matter how I look at it, sis, if it wasn't you, then there's no one else who could have pulled this off. Agent Lang, do you understand the full implications of what you're saying? Of course I do, sis. And I'm serious. You were on the trail of the smuggling ring, and you wanted any evidence you could find. And so while people were distracted by the Etigarazu's appearance, you snuck in here. That's when you two ran into each other. You and that other thief, who took advantage of the confusion from the fire. Even if all that were true, how do you explain the movement of the weapons? Don't worry, I plan to show that you're the culprit behind that too. You had permission to investigate both embassies at will. With that kind of free reign, you could have easily taken the weapons across country lines. Hey now. Look sis, I thought I already told you. I'm not messing around here. Jesus. This case isn't directly tied to the smuggling ring. But Sheena certainly is tied to the smuggling ring. He's right in saying that she is a member of the smuggling ring. However, the connection between this case and the ring... could it not be deeper than any of us can imagine? Let's get this ridiculous circus over with already. Francesca, you need to calm down. Because you only know the facts of the Alabastian side of the case. I don't believe you can see the case as a whole, and therefore solve it. What? But don't worry, I am taking this seriously as well. And I will prove your innocence. That's the only way to be, Mr. Prosecutor. But can you come up with anything else that can top my hypothesis? Of course, your explanation has to solve the mystery of the moving weapons as well. Of course I will. Let us now delve into the truth behind the murder of Damask II. You do understand, don't you, Miles Edgeworth? This isn't just a confrontation against Agent Lang. If you can't figure out how the murder of Damask II is related to the smuggling ring, then it will mean the end of our investigation. As long as I have no good counter-argument to his hypothesis, then the best I can do is walk this thin tightrope and see what I can do. Go on, Mr. Prosecutor, let's get started. Yes, let's. Border crossing weapons. One of Alabast's knife was used in Babal to murder Mr. Gojin. And the murder weapon in the killing of Damask II is Babal's Primitive statue. Somehow these two objects were able to penetrate the two countries' impenetrable security. The only one who traversed the two countries just before and after the crimes was you. That's his, argument. I suppose it makes sense. It's complete bogus, but it makes sense. So, as long as I can't explain how the weapons moved about, Francisco will remain a suspect. You got it, Mr. Prosecutor. So why don't you stop giving me a hard time? Under these circumstances, who the heck can carry a weapon across country lines? I've walked through every possibility, but there's only one that's plausible. Your boss. Agent Lang, what I've learned from you just now is that you've lost sight of yourself. What are you talking about? Not trying to say. By focusing too intently on that which is in front of us, we become blind to the truth. Don't tell me Langzi never said anything to that effect. You prosecutor. Who do you think you are speaking about Langzi's proverbs like that? I don't need his proverbs. Because my words are all you will need to see the truth. Damn. I concur that this knife crossed over country lines. Good, but that's not the only thing that did. We mustn't forget about the other weapon. The knife was only one. So you're saying that the Primitive statue was also brought over by Francisca? Like I told you before, that's the only way it makes sense. Now how exactly did you bring it over? I haven't figured that out yet. That's a rather weak statement, considering how sure you are. Maybe, but there is one thing I do know for sure. They were, and I think I know how. I do have an idea. Agent Lang, those two items are not the only two to cross the border tonight. Oh? Damask II was killed with Babal's Primitive statue, yes? But if that's the case, then tell me, where did Alabast's Primitive statue go? To Babal. Precisely. And if the two statues really were switched, then this means that both statues were smuggled across the border at some point. Which means that a total of 3 items were smuggled across the embassies. I guess so. But you know what? It doesn't matter the number of items, only that the sis is the only one who could have done it. Because the only person who went back and forth between Alabast and Babal is her. Is that really true? Was there no one else who travelled between the two countries? Actually, there was definitely another person. One who paid a visit to both sides of the wall. The Yatagarasu. Oh my god! Okay. Is that really so, Agent Lang? What a lousy time to try and bluff your way out of this. I checked out what the guard said, along with the security camera's footage. You're not going to overturn my hypothesis that easily. But suppose there was some other way... Wait, or some other way other than through the theatre doors. What other way? The other entity that managed to cross the border unharmed. If I point it out, it would open up a whole new possibility. And though I hesitate to bring this out, As long as this entity exists, the impossible road becomes a possibility. Looks like you've got some clever idea in mind. I do, and I can show it to you through a single piece of evidence. Fine then. Let's see this piece of evidence that will show me this other route. This piece of evidence will show us another way to move between the two countries. Using a window! Agent Lang, I'm sure you are familiar with this unforgettable photo. That supernatural photo? Like I said before. Humans can't fly. No, of course not. I understand that perfectly well. And don't start claiming that Sheena somehow grew wings either. I wouldn't dream of claiming that. And I won't allow you to take back what you've said either. I'll say it again, it's not humanly possible to fly through the air without wings. So you'd better have a good explanation for this, Mr. Prosecutor. Jesus. But how can I prove who it was that flew through the air in this photo? Wait, not humanly possible. Eureka! Very well. You will have your explanation. Sounds like you have a good idea simmering inside that head of yours. Let's hear it. The face hidden within this photo's blurry... Oh, within this photo's blurry trailed shadow is... Not that one. There we go. Naturally, the shadow is the third smuggled object. The Primadux statue replica. You can't be serious. The Atagarasu, or rather Callisto Yu dressed as Agent Sheena, was inside Babal. She dressed the replica statue up in clothes and launched it through the air. Mr. Prosecutor, you left out a very crucial bit in your explanation. I know I did. She launched it through the air? Huh. And how exactly did she do that? He is literally baring his fangs at me. But he has a point. How exactly did it move through the air like that? As long as this remains unsolved, we won't be able to move any closer to the truth. Which reminds me, didn't he say this earlier? Hey sis, I remember that just before Ambassador Alba went to give his speech, he called you into his office, right? So, just before the murder, Franziska was called here, right into this very room. If that's the case, then that may be another avenue I can pursue. Okay, Agent Lang, in order for me to answer that question, I will need to hear testimony from Miss Von Karma. Oh? What are you up to now, pretty boy? Earlier, you mentioned something of interest to me. You said that just before the murder occurred, Miss Von Karma had been in this room because Ambassador Alba had called for her. And now that reason alone, or for that reason alone, you believe her to be the killer. Yeah, I guess I did say something like that. Ow. In that case, I believe it is my duty to ask her what her side of the story is. Do you really think a criminal would tell us the honest truth? How dare you? As I've said numerous times, there is absolutely no proof that I am the killer. Miles Edgeworth, don't tell me you suspect me too. I don't. However, I can't ignore the fact that you were in this room at one point in time. Which is why I would like to hear about your movements in this room. Franziska, I feel that I still don't have enough information. Which is why your testimony is incredibly important to the outcome of this case. Alright. So, what would you like me to talk about? I'd like you to please testify to your movements in this room until the murder occurred. Alright, let's try this your way for a change. But if what she has to say turns out to be a waste of time, I'll place her under arrest faster than you can howl no. As you wish. Alright, so we're arguing with... Oh, not arguing. It's just a testimony. Movements in Alabast. As I said earlier, I was assigned to guard duty in the Alabastian embassy. After I saw the Steel Samurai off on his way towards the ambassador's office, I returned to the Rose Garden for a bit and checked up on the security situation. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back by Ambassador Alba to his office. Alright. So Franziska, I want us to make this clear from the very beginning. So what I wish to confirm is that the only time span in which you were in this office was before the murder occurred, is that correct? Yes, of course. I see. For now, the only way that I can see for us to break out of this situation is to ask Francisca about her testimony in more detail. Oh boy. Right, movements in Alabast. Hold it. Hold it. Yeah, it don't work. Hold it. Yeah, whatever. I like using the voice stuff, but 90% of the time it don't work. You just end up yelling the same thing like a lunatic. I thought your duty was to fact-find anything you could about the smuggling ring. Yes, that was my job. But upon hearing that the Yatagarasu had sent a calling card to the embassy, Ambassador Alba called upon us to protect the embassy instead. That incident 7 years ago. Or have you forgotten what happened? What happened here back then? Oh, right, yeah. Anything related to that case we were involved in appears to be rather painful for her. It's not exactly one I can readily forget myself. Looks like you remember the case after all. Of course I do. I inspected every location, every possible escape route, and every aspect of the police's security detail. I did all that, then after that... Yeah, she went to the Rose Garden. So you were at the theatre as well? Yes, and I suppose you were also there as well, watching that stage show? Well, yes, so Francisca was there. Well, after the show was over and I saw the Steel Samurai off... There we go. Why did you need to confirm the degree of preparation for even the speech? For security's sake, of course. What other reason could I have had? No one knew just how the Yatagarasu had planned on getting in, right? Yes, I suppose you're right. And in the end, the Yatagarasu did choose to appear in the Rose Garden, even if it did turn out to be nothing more than a shadow. Who would have thought that she would use a shadow? Oh god. Calm down, Francisca. She must still be nursing a grudge over the fact that she couldn't figure it out herself. Anyway, there was no one in the Rose Garden. And we were aware that the speech was set to start soon thereafter. After all the preparations were in place, I was called back to, or by Ambassador Alba to his office. Well, pardon me. At that time, Tabasco II's body had yet to be found in this room. Is that correct? That's right. But Ambassador Alba was here. One could hardly miss his rather large presence. A criminal will say anything to get out of getting arrested. How do we know you're not lying? Well, if you need proof, I'd be happy to oblige you. Seriously? Like I keep telling you. When I arrived at this office, Ambassador Alba was already here. He was standing by the flower box on the windowsill, watering his plants. I can attest to that. I remember speaking with the lovely lady around that time here in my office. Alright then, add that statement to your testimony, and let's hear some details. So Ambassador Alba was in this room at the time, was he? When I arrived, Ambassador Alba was watering the flowers on the windowsill. For the sake of being thorough, I'd like to ask you something. How did you know that Ambassador Alba was watering his plants at the windowsill? What do you mean by that? The entrance to this room is on this side. However, the window is on the opposite side. If what you say is true, then when you entered the room, the body would have been like a wall. He would have been blocking your view of what he was doing. Isn't that not correct? I suppose it was a bit hard to see around him. But fortunately for me, Ambassador Alba is not an immovable wall. I knocked before I entered, and as I did, he turned around to greet me, with a watering can in his hand. So it's only natural to believe that he was watering his plants, right? I suppose. After his greeting, we spent a little time talking about his flowers. He had obtained them himself, and is growing them with the utmost care, you know? Yes. The plants in this room, they are all like my children. The passion flowers in the flower box on the windowsill are growing beautifully too. All 4 of them are in full blossom. No they aren't. There's only 2. Oh, is it 3? Miss Von Karma, what did you say just now? I said that the flowers are growing beautifully. What about that statement do you not understand? What do I not understand? I do not understand why a certain thing is the way it is. I'd like for you to append that statement to your testimony. Very well. There were 4 large passion flowers in full bloom in the flower box, but there's only 3, or 2. I don't remember how many actually. 2! 2 large flowers. So where are the other 2? Franziska. For some odd reason, your testimony contradicts with this piece of evidence. It does appear that way. Ha, I knew it. I knew we couldn't trust your word, sis. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you doing discrediting Miss Von Karma like this? Yes, sir. If you keep this up, she's gonna get taken away, sir. All I've done is state what I saw. I've made not a single mistake in my testimony. And for this, I am still under suspicion for murder. Is the number of flowers really all that important at this juncture, Miles? At the very least, it is a contradiction in this enigmatic case. One that I find hard to dismiss as irrelevant. Then let's hear it, Mr. Prosecutor. What does the number of flowers have to do with anything? What does it prove? I believe the answer to that will become clear if we were to examine that flower box. How did this contradiction come about? There must be something behind this discrepancy. They're my beloved flowers. I've grown them with utmost care. So I ask that you please be gentle with them as you examine them, Mr. Edgeworth. I understand. All residents have inspected every looking... Yeah. This patch of soil looks as though it had something removed from it. What are you doing, Mr. Prosecutor? Why'd you climb up all of a sudden? I'm still here, waiting for an explanation, you know. Did you know, Agent Lang? Flowers are best appreciated in silence. Psh. Looks like 2 things were pulled out of this flower box. So what else is there that I can examine? Anything? Or can I present? No, I can't present anything. Weird. I believe they're called passion flowers. Despite being called flowers, they are actually a species of vine. They appear to be growing well and are well supported by these plant supporters, or supports. Yeah, but no matter how I look at it, it looks like there are only 2 here to me. You realise, don't you, sis? Your little lie has failed you. Miles Edgeworth, hurry up and shut this man up for me already. I suppose I will need to use some evidence to shut him up, won't I? Show evidence. I believe I have just the piece of evidence you require. Oh, you do you? You have such confidence in the fact that in the face of your current plight, but I highly doubt it'll last until the end. You howl like a wolf, Agent Lang. But we'll see if you have any bite to back up that bark after you see the evidence. The truth the passion flowers reveal can be seen in this piece of evidence. Why don't you go like 3 pages over? Hair sticks. There is some dirt on their tips. Sheena, who was supposedly in Babal the entire time, had these hair sticks on her that look exactly like the plant supports in this flower box. In other words, I believe it can be said that these hair sticks are in actuality support sticks for the passion flowers. And so what? Is this really all that important to the case? Of course it is. It means that we found yet another item that was smuggled between the countries tonight. Oh yeah. Think about it logically, Agent Lang. These sticks were originally in Alabast. But somehow they wound up in Sheena's hands, who was in Babal the whole night. So make no mistake, these sticks were smuggled somehow, just like the knife and statue. Very well then. I want to hear from you exactly how they wound up in Babal. How did these support sticks find their way to Babal, and why? There must be some reason as to why they ended up there. So that's why. Agent Lang, if you would please take a look at this and tell me its shape. It's just another stick, isn't it? So it is. But the shape of the support sticks is what is important. For when they are used with something in this room, that's when it all comes into focus. I think I know what he's getting at. And the object that completes the picture when used with the support sticks is this. Crossbow. They look like crossbow bolts. That's a crossbow. Wait, you're not really suggesting. I am. These hair sticks are rather plant support sticks. They make for perfect arrows. I've done it. I found the common thread that connects the two offices. But this thread has yet to be completely untangled. Even using the arrows, how does this explain how the statues were transported? Furthermore, who could it have been who fired these sticks as arrows? There must be a common thread that ties all of these things together. Of course I get not so fasted. Not so fast. Mr. Prosecutor, hold up a second. You do realise what happens when you tie a statue to an arrow, right? They don't fly at all. That's not what I'm trying to say, though. So, border crossing, part 2. So Babal's statue was draped in the Edgeworth's clothes, and then shot over here. Even if you fired the arrows from this side, they wouldn't go far with the statue tied to them. I don't think I need to tell... Wait, I don't think I need to tell you that the Primadux statues didn't sprout wings. You're a realist after all, aren't you? So the Primadux statues didn't sprout wings? Of course they didn't. Glad you understand. I feel much better already. I was afraid for a second that you were unaware of that crucial fact. It's only crucial because you're under the belief that wings are necessary to this equation. What? You need to free your mind a bit more and let it fly like a bird on the wind. The Primadux statues flew, but not on a wing. Allow me a bit of your time and I'll explain this mysterious phenomenon to you. Border crossing part 2. But that incredible scene just happened to have been caught on film, resulting in this photo. And what an incredible scene it was. This photo was taken by a freelance photojournalist, right? Yeah, so I hear. And not every photojournalist is known to be honest, right? Especially not the ones that sell photos of spirits and giant creatures to tabloids. Yeah, I know what you mean. I've seen those sorts of photos many a time in court. But there have been times when those photos have turned out to be telling the truth. If you had ever stood in a court of law, you would know that it's entirely plausible. You really believe the stuff you're spewing right now. The courtroom certainly is a strange place if what you say is true. But there really is something odd about that photo no matter how you look at it. We are in agreement that an arrow by itself would reach the other side, correct? But just the arrow by itself is pretty meaningless, don't you think, Mr. Prosecutor? Because the things they wanted to smuggle were a lot bigger than nothing. No, that's not necessarily true. What? What I need right now is not further discussion of my conclusions, it's the launching of my conclusions. What the shooter wanted to launch with the crossbow was not the statues themselves, but rather something a crossbow can launch that can be used to move the statues. So if it wasn't a statue that was tied to the arrows, then what did the crossbow launch? It was some wire! Of course. Finally we have reached this point in our discussion. For I present to you that which was carried by the arrow from the crossbow. I get it now, Mr. Prosecutor. I can see exactly what you're trying to say. There we go. You're saying that the wire was tied to an arrow and then shot into Mr. Cochin's office. All the way from the 5th floor of the Alabastian Embassy down to the 3rd floor of the Babalese Embassy. If what you're claiming is really what happened, you can see how Alabast's Primadux statue could be moved. Gravity could be used to move the statues down the wire from the 5th to the 3rd floor. But then, what about Babal's Primadux statue? The dark shadow in this photo is clearly flying away from Babal. Going in the opposite way of gravity, from the 3rd floor of the Babalese embassy, up to the 5th floor of the Alabastian embassy. How do you explain that? I think I finally see how the gears behind this whole trick works. Agent Lang, the motion used behind this trick. I wonder if perhaps you have yet to envision how it works in your head. Motion? What motion? Oh, there we go. This is the motion that was employed to smuggle Babal's primitive statue. The bungee action, swinging action, rotary motion. I said action for the other two. I meant motion, but whatever. I believe it was done via rotary motion. If the 2 statues were transported simultaneously, get real, the statues would collide somewhere along the way. Did they ever say that there was only one line of wire between the 2 offices? If you shot an arrow with the 2 ends of a wire to it, a circular belt could be formed. Langzy says don't object and call a success what is beyond reasonability. Taking into account the tension difference between the 2 wires, the top one would sag too much, to the point where the statues would collide anyway. Agent Lang, as you know, the primitive statue is a one-of-a-kind national treasure, and the fact that Babal's statue is a hollow replica of the real statue, it would naturally be lighter than the real one, meaning that my idea is very possible. Langzy says... Howl. Here's what I believe happened. Miss Yu and her mystery co-conspirator set themselves up in 2 different rooms. The co-conspirator bridged the rooms by shooting the 2 ends of the wire down on 1 arrow. Then the 2 of them covered the statues and proceeded to transport the statues. After the switch was completed, another arrow was fired, carrying the other end of the wire down to Babal, where it was disposed of. And to do that, Miss Yu hid it inside the grandfather clock, QED. This proves it, right, Agent Lang? That I'm not the killer. Not yet, sis. I still haven't had my dessert yet. Right, Mr. Prosecutor? The proof is in the pudding, as it were. Pudding is a nice dessert. So, do you think you can do it? Can you prove that what you said is what happened? Because remember, if you can't, I'll be taking a certain someone back home with me as a souvenir. I agree that as long as there is no proof, my hypothesis remains just that. However, what I have laid out is no mere hypothesis, for there is one more piece of evidence. One more? This should be interesting. You think you have a piece of evidence that will turn your hypothesis into fact? Well then, let's see it, Mr. Prosecutor. The thing that made it possible to create a circular bell out of a length of wire. I believe that it is right here in this very room. Oh. Now then, I believe this is what made the circular belt transportation method possible. Boink! I really hope that works. Looks like you dropped another bomb on us again. The last piece to the trick. Our 2 pulleys. Precisely, the ceiling fans double as pulleys in this case. And thanks to the fact that there is one installed in each of the offices, the ceiling fans made for the perfect pulley set for the wire to run on. Oh Jesus. This must be it. This is how the smugglers bypassed the impenetrable security. You really are something else, Mr. Prosecutor. I bet you figured it all out already, haven't you? You know who the big hotshot that set up this real-life stage show is, don't you? The person who set up this rather large and complex stage show needs to be someone who had foreknowledge of the existence of a ceiling fan in both the Alabastian and Babalese offices, and that the passion flowers' support stakes could be used as arrows. The real mastermind behind this case. Well, don't you dare make this wolf wait for his food. Why are you so hesitant, Lord Edgeworth? If you can't say who it is, why don't you present something like you always do? A single point of the finger here in this case will explode into an international incident. However, it's already too late for me to stop the forward momentum. It appears that I have no choice now, but to rush in. There is a piece of evidence that will point us to who the mysterious mastermind is. This smuggling could not have been made possible without the use of the crossbows. Furthermore, the arrows that were shot by the crossbow were plucked, as it were, from the flower box in this very room. They were planted so long ago that the passion flowers had the time to grow so big, that Miss Von Karma didn't even notice the arrows when she visited the room today. On top of all this, the fact that the culprit knew that both officers had ceiling fans tells us that the person has very detailed information on the embassy's layout. So, as you may have already guessed, the person I am accusing of hatching this plan is the person who grew the flowers in the flower box with the utmost care. Thus, it can only be you, Quercus alba. Are you out of your mind, Miles Edgeworth? I'm certain of what I am saying, and I am sure that he is the culprit. Tell me, Mr. Prosecutor, what was the ambassador trying to accomplish by doing all that stuff you just outlined? Why in the world would he need to use a trick like that? I understand that your need to doubt me. However, there is one thing that stands out to me as very odd. Just one thing, huh? The one single end result Ambassador Alba sought to obtain. If we were to examine the focus of this complex trick, I believe we will finally find the answer to everything. Everything will become clear once we examine this piece of evidence. Wait, what? Used to be real, but swapped with a fake. That one was the real deal, was it not? So why- wait. If that was real, why swap it? I would fully understand the reasoning had the situation been the reverse. However, to go through the trouble of swapping the real Primadux statue for the fake, I sense a very shady reason for such a bizarre action. And who better to ask for that reason than King Primadux himself? I see. Ambassador, we'll be examining that statue now, with or without your permission. Oh. Really? I don't even know what I could examine. Head? This guy kinda looks like the Steel Samurai, don't you think? Maybe it's because they look alike, and he was picked to be the Goodwill Ambassador. Suppose that's possible. Take a look at this area around the base of his neck. It looks like a gap. Hey, you're right. Maybe it's meant to be some kind of secret. Perhaps it's possible to open the statue from this gap in its construction. What? Hurry up and open it, Miles. Alright, here goes. Wow, it really did open up. Hey, what's this thing that fell out? I believe a more thorough examination of it is required. What in the... is this? Hey, is this what I think this is? It's a plate for making counterfeit bills. Somehow, it appears that we've at long last arrived. Oh, at the exit to this complex labyrinth. We finally hold within our hands one of the counterfeit money plates. And the reason why the replica was smuggled into Alabas to begin with. Oh. The Primadux statue can only be handled by the Ambassador or the Secretariat. And the replica is nothing more than a hollow shell covered in gold. These two circumstances make the statue the ideal object in which to hide contraband. After receiving the statue containing the counterfeit plate from Sheena, the ambassador had the misfortune of accidentally running into Damask II. Surprised by the thief, the ambassador raised the replica statue at Damask II and... poof! Crushed his damn head. Then, in order to frame the Steel Samurai of the murder, he covered the samurai sword in blood. Well, Ambassador Alba? You are the leader of the smuggling ring. My country is a mess, and it's all because of you? You are the one who killed Damask II? Answer us! I never thought that you would figure things out to this level. However, there is one point I disagree with you on. The head of the smuggling ring was... Mr. Cochin. Bullshit. Quit screwing around. I have no sympathy for someone who would try to pass the guilt onto a dead man. If there is one thing I'm sure of, it's that you're the real ringleader, Quercus Alba. It's not good to speak with such subjectivity. You know, Agent Lang. Subjectivity. My conclusion is anything but, and is the result of logic and investigation. Logic and investigation. Only seconds ago you were ready to arrest Miss Von Karma. I don't think we can give such flip-floppy logic any real weight, do you? Oh dear. Now he's gonna start laughing again. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. Looks like you still don't get why I came back. Excuse me? You see, the reason I came back is so that I could sink my fangs into your wrinkly old neck. From the very beginning, my real target has been you. What? Agent Lang, I demand an explanation. Sorry, sis. I didn't mean to put you through all that. I knew you were innocent from the very beginning. You did? I knew that this whole incident had been meticulously planned and prepared for. So naturally, the occupant of this room, Ambassador Alba, seemed the most suspicious. But without the Ambassador's permission, we couldn't get in to take another look around. Ah, so that's why you put on this big show to accuse Franziska of the murder. Using Franziska as the bait, you were able to gain us entry and investigative rights. Yeah, if I hadn't done that, I doubt the Ambassador would have given the okay to poke around. So that's what this was all about. Very well, I will forgive you. But in exchange for using me as bait, you will take some responsibility and help us find the truth. Agent Lang, for giving me such a great opening, I thank you. You know, I just knew, Mr. Prosecutor, that somehow, if we were able to find some proof by investigating this room, that you would be able to figure out the real culprit with your special brand of logic. The evidence detectives collect, combined with the logic of a prosecutor. That's just as it should be. In a prosecutor-detective team, right? I don't know about all that. But one thing I do know is that I'm itching to see that old man get what's coming to him. You're quite scary when you want to be, aren't you? Hey, you were the one who was planning to use me to push all the guilt onto the sis. But unfortunately for you, you misjudged me. Agent Lang, I wish for you to stop trying to intimidate me. What we need right now is evidence and proof. I wonder if you have what is necessary to prove that I am the head of the smuggling ring. Don't be such a sore loser. If you really are the head of the smuggling ring, then you should acknowledge your crimes with dignity. Dignity? That is nothing more than a fool's insincere display of strength. If you really wish for me to acknowledge my crimes, then I would like to first see some of this thing you call evidence. I tell you, I knew nothing, really. I didn't even know that a counterfeit plate was hidden inside that statue. You swapped a real statue that vested in your country the authority to rule for a fake. Hey Yexar, how's it going? It doesn't make any sense that you didn't know anything. It doesn't make sense? Where doesn't it make sense? Can you prove that it doesn't make sense? No. He really got us. He's turned the entire situation around against us. Of course he has. This happens all the time. Then the proof that Interpol has been after, which points to this man as the ringleader. If we can somehow find that proof now, then we can see to it that justice is finally served. Is there nothing I can use to break this case wide open? Yeah, the tape, the video that shows the car, as well as the trump card and the videotape. With those two items, we might be able to finally bring this man down. But the card is evidence from a case that Mr. Faraday hid away in secret. And the tape was stolen by Detective Bad. From the police. They're both illegal evidence. Oh no! No matter what, a protector of the law can't be allowed to use such pieces of evidence. Well, we're gonna have to. Needless to say, we Von Karmas are commanded to achieve nothing but victory. And by any means necessary. Well, there you go. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what we thought at the time. No longer follow the path of Manfred von Karma. And I won't follow the path of the Yatagarasu. This leaves me with what? What creed will I believe in? If I want to pursue the truth, then I will sully my hands in illegality. And if I want to pursue justice, then I will lose the truth. What is the law and what is justice? And which path is a prosecutor supposed to follow? That choice is one I must make by my own hand here and now. Don't use the trump card. Really? Should I? I mean, if you don't use it, it probably forces you to use it anyway. I'm just like, should I? Yeah, do them. Use them! There is no limit to the law. Any limit that exists was set there by man. When a person goes beyond that limit, then the law too crosses into new territory. For what reason were laws invented? The answer to that is what I must now show. Ambassador Alba, I wonder if you might recognize this. Oh, I wonder what that card is. I've never seen that before in my life. It's a directives card used by the leader of the ring to relay instructions to his subordinates. Oh, is that what it is? This card was sent to the real culprit behind the KGA incident 10 years ago. A man by the name of Mr. Manny Kochin. Oh, so why do you have such a card in your possession? Because it was hand-delivered to me. By a certain great thief, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu gave that to you? Don't talk nonsense. And let's be serious, Mr. Edgeworth. Do you have any proof that the card contains directions from the ringleader? I'll have you know that the card is not the only thing I was given. What? This contains security footage that was shot just before the start of the KG8 incident. KG8 incident? The card and the video. These two pieces of evidence are what will seal your fate. Very interesting. I must admit I am very curious now. Very curious indeed in these case-deciding pieces of evidence you presented. The prey the Yatagarasu has been chasing all this time now stands before me. I can't allow this man, who has had free reign for 10 long years, to simply walk away. Now is the time for me to bring to fruition the valiant spirit that was given to me. Bloody hell. Pardon me. So what is this interesting thing that you wanted to show me? The trump card and the videotape. These two pieces of evidence together make for the ultimate hand. This is where the real meaning behind Detective Bad's words will be realised. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. There we go. What you see here is security footage shot just before the KG8 murder occurred. From this footage, we know that the card is a directives card from a smuggling ring, or from the smuggling ring. Right, so present the black card in his hand. As you can see, Mr. Cochin is holding the card in his right hand. I see. The killer is indeed holding a card with the exact same design on it. That card and the one you have. Just because they look the same doesn't mean that they are, does it now? But there's a very easy way for me to prove that they are in fact one and the same. All we have to do is simply take a look at this. There we go. This dark red blood. Yes, this is your proof. Proof that the orders on this card were played out in that terrible tragedy. The blood belonged to the victim of the KG8 incident. With a bit of DNA test in, we can very easily verify that as fact. If you have no objections, then I'd like for you to take a look at this next piece of footage. So, this car that passed by in front of the victim's apartment building, it's an official Cadopian government car. What? Detective Gumshoe, if you could please magnify the footage. Enhance. This area of the footage directly links the smuggling ring with Cadopia. I'm assuming it's that. That looks as if it's a card. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure though. The shape of this pocket, and the directives cards in it, or card in it, it tells us that without a doubt, this person in this car is Mr. Cochin. The license plate on the car was also captured by the security camera. And with it, we can easily find out who was sitting in this car on that day, 10 years ago. Which is why I can say with confidence that you were riding in this car on that day. Huh. Oh, now he's laughing, of course. Oh my god, he transformed! Holy shit! You've done well, boy, to make it this far. However, above your claim that I was riding in the car at the time, that's going to be mighty difficult to prove. How so? The Principality of Cadopia no longer exists, so naturally, all records from that time period also no longer exist. The arrogance. What he really means is he's already erased all traces of them. Are we finished here, boy? The only weapon I have left to me now is this piece of footage. Well, luckily, there is something here. There must be something here that can use against him, and there is. It's called a medal. That'll do. What the? Ambassador Alba? Yes, what is it? You were once an army man, in the service of Cadopia. And it was you who made the many missions you participated in successes, correct? Why the sudden backhanded praises, boy? Although, to be sure, the brilliant medals on my breast were awarded to me during the era of Cadopia. But now I am the only one who owns this particular medal. In that case, the only person it could be who is sitting in this car is you. How do you figure that? By the medal captured here in this footage. It is clearly the same exact medal as the one on your chest. But what? Oh my god. This is how it will be, but I won't look back. For this is the path that I have chosen. And of course he laughs again. So you've moved... Wait. You've moved me with your devotion to the case. Or to this case, Mr. Edgeworth. Why is he taking such an arrogant stance with me? It's almost looking possible, isn't it? For the lot of you to have come this far. Looks like I just might lose our little game this time. You might lose the game this time? You don't get another round, Mr. Ambassador. Is that a fact? Very well, I've decided to confess and admit my guilt. You're going to confess? And I will accept whatever punishment that may come as a result. What the? Regarding the Damask II murder, I admit it. I did it out of self-defense. You're claiming it was justified self-defense? Damask II attacked me. And I felt that my life was in danger. If I hadn't done what I did, I might be the one you found dead instead of him. What a pathetic performance. I'm not giving you one. Well, you two really know how to laugh at inappropriate times. If you wish to claim it was justified self-defense, then we will need some evidence. It's always the evidence with you, isn't it? But if that's what you require, I'll provide it. That man left a mark on me when he attacked. What? I don't particularly want to show it off, but this is proof that it was in self-defense. I'm an old man, and sometimes I don't pay enough attention when I should. But Damask II didn't have a single weapon on his body. Hold on, it's nothing to get worked up over, because I hid the weapon. You hid it? I'm sorry, but as you know, a murder is a murder, even if it is, or even if it's in self-defense. And I couldn't let it become public, seeing as how I am an ambassador. This is the weapon you seek, my special bonsai trimming shears. It's covered in blood. He was trembling quite badly during our struggle. But that's when he grabbed the shears that were sitting in my office and attacked. So you see, it was an act of self-defense. Is he right, Mr. Edgeworth? Since he has both a wound and the weapon that caused it, it's enough to declare it so. No way. Oh, which reminds me, I guess there is still one more accusation I need to resolve. Smuggling and counterfeiting. Unfortunately, all of that is my secretary's doing. I had no knowledge it was going on. Stop spewing nonsense. You're trying to throw my investigation under the bus in your desperation. If you want to get real honest, everything in this case can be connected to you. The murder of Damask II was done in self-defense. In my trials, no man escapes his crime alive. Perhaps so, if you were my opponent in court. However, there is one very important fact that I think you may have forgotten. And what is that? I don't get it. That's what you mean. Extraterritorial... What? Extraterritorial... I can't say this word. Extraterritoriality. There we go. Extraterritoriality. There we go. That's right. This embassy sits on what is effectively Alabastian soil. So any trial that's to be held will be held in Alabast. Therefore, the crime I just admitted to will never be tried in your courts. Agent Lang, what is Interpol's stance on this? Agents investigate, that's our job. The judgment of people who have confessed to their crime, that's the court's job. Uh-oh. And I've already confessed to all of my crimes, Agent Lang. Furthermore, by the very nature of my position, I have full extraterritorial rights. These rights are effective even on your country's soil, therefore, no matter where a crime may have taken place, or may take place, I will never stand trial in one of your courts. That arrogance and your expression. That's nothing like the face of someone who is ready to accept the consequences. Don't tell me you have your own country's judicial system eating right out of your hands. These crimes you all speak so seriously of? To me, this has all been nothing more than a game. You may chase me out of this embassy with your accusations, but it's no big deal. Alabast has numerous other embassies in other countries around the world. All you would accomplish is you would change the backdrop of our little game. These 2 layers of protection that extraterritoriality provides him. This is why he is one of those who cannot be brought to court. You see now, don't you? I live in a whole different world than you. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go and fetch your eviction papers. Oh dear. Is there nothing we can do? To be continued. There we go. Woohoo! Oh man. Yep, so now we're actually in like the final stretch. But like the last 2 parts are probably going to take ages to get through anyway. I would assume so. Regardless, that is going to be the end of this session. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you have enjoyed, and until next time, take care.